A new battlefield is opening up. We're at a new location for a new 9th Age battle between Sauran Ancients and Highborne Elves. The Highborne Elves chose their deployment zone in a counterthrust breakthrough objective. And the Sauruses have started dropping one salamander. A salamander from the toy store. Another salamander is what they've dropped on the other side, because the Sauran Ancients dropped the first drop. Highborne Elves counter with a bolt thrower after the Lion Guards. The Sauruses drop everything on their 4th drop. Here's the Taurosaur beside the Saurus Cavalry, a block of Temple Guards, and Sauruses with a skink on a stool, chaff on the flanks, and more Sauruses. And the High Elves choose to bunker up on their version of Bunker Hill. The chaff comes into the ruins here. Now the scouts, the skink chameleon scouts. And it'll be a heavy hammer blow from the side where the High Elves are trying to break through. Let's see, they have a salamander up against them. It is lethal to elves. And there's another one lurking here behind the impassable, so the Sauruses are closing the flank. They're not going to let these Lion Guards have a rest. So they're still quite a while away. They will not be in charge range the next round either. But they're putting the pressure on the High Elves. And it's looking like a strong advancement. The High Elves have a forest blocking their view from most of the shooting targets. And they'll have the choice whether to move into the forest aggressively, risking to lose their steadfast in any combat.
I can charges.
5 Lion Guards fall to Spark of Creation and to the Chameleon Skinks. Many spells come through, but there are not that many useful spells on the Lizardman's side early on. Spark of Creation, for example, had to be cast in the lower casting value version. Now come the High Elves, and they choose not to charge the salamander in the forest. They're choosing another strategy, moving ahead, moderately. The Highborne Elves shoot down 2 of the salamanders, one with the bolt thrower alone here, and the other one with a combo fire of Northern Sea Guards and the Sky Sloop. The Queen's Guards shoot down the Petrolan sentries,
We flee.
and they flee almost off the table, so the High Elves actually clean all the opponent's good pieces in one round. In their second turn, the Saurus Ancients rally their Chameleon Skinks and their sentries, Petrolan Riders. They try to cast Dance Macabre. Evocation seems to be a good lore for them. And with a high cast of 21 or 18 or something, the Highborne Elves is forced to use all 7 dispel dice to dispel it. And the Sauron player follows up with casting 3 good spells. They get off Spark of Creation, almost killing the Sky Sloop. It has 1 wound left now, into its turn 3. And they get off Stone Skin on the Sauruses. I think they got off 1 more spell. Yeah, minus toughness on the White Lions. And now, in the High Elf turn 3, the White Lions do choose to charge these Sauruses, even though the Sauruses have toughness 7 and the White Lions have toughness 2. the highborne elf player chooses to reshuffle his old armory. The sky sloop, severely wounded, jumps behind the mountain, not to be cast Spark of Creation by the slan again, from this Temple Guard unit. And he reshuffles to get further away from the storming Sauruses. They need to get this Dance Macabre off to get close enough, because the White Lions will be stubborn in the forest with the High Elf Prince. So even though it's a bad matchup magic-wise, the highborne player has some reasons to be confident. And it simply seems like the spearmen are going for the objective. They feel they have this under wraps.
Du får lette.
The Saurus cavalry is almost shot down to land. There's one man left. Spearmen are going hunting. The White Lions beat the Sauruses quite ferociously, and they choose to reform. In the central forests, they stand their ground. The Sauruses killed 5 White Lions, though. That's not bad, considering they were beaten severely in combat resolution. In the Saurus round 3, the White Lion Guards actually flee from the Saurus charge, because the Sauruses could cast Stoneskin on themselves. They're too threatening for the now lessened, the weakened White Lion unit. That's everything the High Elves got. So now the Sauruses advance. The Taurosaur gets Stoneskin cast on it, and there's an attempt at Summer's Growth, but it's dispelled. That was the important spell there. The highborne elves do cheeky faces from their corner of the battlefield. This is looking dire for the Lizardmen. They're coming up in their turn 4 now. The highborne elves, however, have been shooting, failing and flopping all their magic. So even though they rallied their White Lions, they don't manage to pick off quite enough of the Sauruses to be comfortable, but they're in a hard defensive position because the Sea Guards are in a chargeable position from both the Taurosaur and the Sauruses. They probably won't flee off the table, but they're really being punished and pushed back here. Remember, it's a breakthrough objective. Let's see what the Sauruses do in turn 4. The Sauruses don't have many support units. There's one chameleon skink, and the last Saurus cav falls. In their round 4, the Sauruses advance, but the Stegodon is blocking the path of the Temple Guards. That might not prove ideal, as the elves in their turn 5 now are thinking about chaffing, maybe even chaffing with the Adept Mage, to just keep back the Sauruses for one more round, until the Lion Guards can get in front rank again in the army. Only a few elves, one spearman or something, fell to the magic of the Sauruses in round 4. Okay, sorry audience, I soured things up. Asura. This is round 4 for the highborne elves, because the Sauruses started. In the Lizardman turn 5, the Taurosaur kills the Bolt Robber, which was moved by magic move to chaff it. It's overrun into the Queen's Guards. The Lion Guards, after killing their Saurus unit with a hand weapon and shield, they overran and killed the skink on the palanquin in that unit of Sauruses. So now the highborne elves have their turn 5. It seems like with the chaffing sentries. They might get through to the breakthrough and objective. The High Elves in their turn are fighting a battle against the Stegadon.
Natural Born Predator.
The Queen's Guard lose 11
Du treffer bare på
models
Du treffer på
when
5
they are
siden han har
charged, so they
defensiv
flee.
9.
Ja.
These dice represent how many models are missing. And now,
Ape.
after the spearmen killed the sentries,
Ape 3 da.
Ja.
after the Lion Guards killed the spearback,
Han er ikke død.
Nei, han var kjent.
and after the High Elf hero killed most of the Sauruses,
6.
the Sauruses fled from combat and were caught by the High Elf Master of Canreig Tower. The Pterosaur chased the Queen's Guard off the table. The Sky Sloop panicked and ran off the table.
Good times.
Very much so. The Sauruses have to admit defeat after a fun battle. They tried to charge, needed 10 on the die to get to the Northern Sea Guards, and they have a lot left on the table in terms of points in this Temple Guard unit, but the Temple Guard unit pretty much never got to fight. So the White Lions take the objective, and the other spear-wielding elves are quite impudent in their reign over the corner of the battlefield, which they broke through.
Yes, the High Elf player was very hardly pushed.
He was hardly pushed at all.
Very, very hardly pushed.
The turning point, what was that for the High Elves?
It was when I was able to charge his Saurus block with my Lion Guard unit and cast a Raven Swing on the Bolt Thrower to chap his Temple Guard unit and Dinosaur